Yes, it is.
Oh, hey, Emma. Can you go set up the gold thing in there for me? Set it on the floor and bring me one of the mics.
The gold
Are you
thing,
kidding?
duh.
Yeah,
You guys got...
that?
Is that what that
Okay, we're
laughing?
live.
We're live. Okay. Well, let's give it a couple minutes and let people
Oh, no, we're in
tag
stereo.
along here.
You guys got...
Welcome to another episode of What Will Dan Spill Ginger Ale on Next. Brought to you by Ginger Ale. Yeah, give me one of the mics, but you got to bring the speaker in there because it's just too freaking loud.
Oh,
Put it on the kitchen table.
Yeah, put it on the kitchen table
That
and
just came with this
no,
cup,
baby.
too.
I'll turn
Dude,
it on.
that's a
Okay.
steal.
Power on.
Say hi, Gabe.
What it do?
Ricky.
I don't know what
Dan.
I'm doing.
Put it by the sliding door.
He doesn't know what he's doing. Randy, say hello.
Hello.
Goodbye.
We got 16,
Hi.
17.
Okay, give us a couple minutes, guys. We just want to,
Here, we'll look at these.
why was it doing that?
Because the other microphone's on it.
Is it on?
That's cool.
Yeah, it must have been on.
Are you serious?
Laughter.
Hey,
Sunday.
you know what we say about negative Nancy's like that, right? It's not quite loud enough. Put it on the rug and the floor. Yeah, that's what it was. We're getting feedback from the other mic being on.
Did you turn it off?
Okay, guys. You want an applause?
Because Randy's about to walk in. When Randy walks
Randy, mother Barriera.
Vieira.
I know.
Not Barrera.
I didn't say Barriera.
No.
Burrito.
Thought about using
Okay,
my
guys.
GPS app and zip tying that sucker, right?
Let's.
I have
That's an expensive phone with
Ricky,
that cargo.
I have a GPS.
Good for you, man.
No, I have
So
the
do
one
I.
that I have the one that they use.
Hey,
and I use
Ricky.
it.
Ricky, I got a GPS.
Same one we had in the.
That's so awesome. That one you got? Yeah, because I bought mine and mine sucks. And then we bought his and we're like, damn, this thing works
We need
good.
to run that on the boats.
All right, welcome guys to episode 6 of Nprc Talk, brought to you by 707 Streetcars. With me, as always, is my co-host Randy Vieira and Ricky Bellotti. And we have a special guest here tonight, here in the 707, where we're some of the fastest in the nation. I'll tell you what, we got a really big guy that plays a big role in what we do here, and I'd like to introduce Gabe.
How's it going, y'all?
What up? Yeah, so what I want to do for you tonight is we want to go over some stuff, some kind of ethics things, and how to maybe get at your own NPRC gang going in your area if you guys are just starting out. And we want to go over a new class we'd like to formally introduce tonight, right, Gabe?
Yep.
Okay, which is going to be, we'll tell you about that in a minute. We won't tell you what it's going to be yet. First thing I want to do, Troy at Phantom, if you're out there, we're going to do some shout-outs right here. If you don't have any Phantom motors or batteries, then Lord have mercy, go get you some, because it's some fast stuff. That's why we run it. So hit Troy up at phantom.com or Phantom RC Products. It'll come up on the old interweb, and they just got, we got, the FR10 speed controls. He's got all kinds of stuff on there that is nothing but go fast stuff. So if you want to go fast, look at it. I want to give a shout out to Rick Turner. Rick Turner made us these shirts. It was pretty cool. I picked up some shirts for me and the boys, and as you can see the back, we got some 707 Streetcars. That's the new entity here. We've dissolved Judd's RC Motorsports because that was more of a singular thing as I was getting started and figuring all this out in the last 3 years. And now that I got some of the fastest guys in the world right here next to me, having my back, we've gone and we've formed a new entity, and it's 707 Streetcars. I think it's really fitting. So I want to say thank you to Ron for the mishap we had this weekend with the speed control warranty repair. Ron got me through it. Ron's a great guy. He is the team manager for Hobby Wing in North America, one of my sponsors, and I've been with them for 2 years, and they're just a darn good company. I mean, they are big. They are the enterprise. So shout out to Hobby Wing. If you don't have any Hobby Wing stuff, check it out. It's really good stuff. And then I want to give a shout out to Steve from RCRI. Makes our chassis, except for Randy's running Associated. He's got some different stuff going, but the RCRI guys have really, really hooked me up. Thank you, Steve, if you're watching. If you want some high-quality, next-level chassis that are just second to none and just work awesome, to me, they're the best on the market. That's why I said yes to a sponsorship to them, because it's what we ran, it's what works. The stuff's low slung, and it's a lot of you know what and get. So, shout out to Steve at RCRI. First of all, I kind of want to next thing I want to do is I want to kind of address the elephant in the room, this COVID-19 thing. It's really got a lot of people. This is a. I guess what I'm getting for is once again we're very appreciative of what we have and what we can do. There's a lot of people out there that are struggling because of this right now. If this has touched you and impact you, and whether it be somebody that you care about got it, or you've been laid off of work or something, and you're having hard times, keep your chin up. At the end of the day, you're still an American. So I'd like to say God bless America, and God bless the firefighters and the first responders and all the men and women in blue, our armed forces, our wonderful president, and all coming together and helping us through this bad time. I think it's just a really, really crappy thing to have happened, and
We can't be 6 feet apart. We're sorry, y'all.
Hey, we are.
Imaginary 6
If these
foot.
weren't some of my, I know some of you might be. Oh my God, they're sitting right next to each other. That's what I do for you, people. I wade through danger for you. Okay, no, if these weren't some of my most closest friends in my life, then I wouldn't be having them. But this is mi familia. You know what I'm saying? These are my boys right here. So. We decided, we know a lot of you are sitting and you're stressing out at home, and we wanted to put a show on because we didn't do it last week because of this. We didn't want to go another week without doing one. I'm going to try and do another one next week, and next week we're going to be totally rearranging the whole order of the show and getting back to more technical stuff, and so maybe we'll do like an episode next episode of like a problem that I'm seeing a lot of people have in the cars, and how I can correct that one thing instead of going and busting people's brains open with a whole suspension tune. Let's address some of those mainline problems that people are having, because we helped. God, I want to say. I'd say hundreds, because that sounds like a lot, but no, we helped thousands of people on our very first video on Sonoma County Nprc on February 7th. So if you scroll back to February 7th, you'll find a video. It's about an hour and a half long, and it goes over everything on the suspension. Now here we are 2 months later, and I'm seeing maybe it's different new people getting into it. Some of the same questions and some of the same things are happening again. And so I anybody who's new and just watching us for the first time, go back to February 7th, look at some of that stuff. Our old shows are on there, and they.
I got a 4-car garage.
Wait, what are we doing?
Nothing. We're just talking shit.
Oh.
David said we got to do it.
Okay, well.
Ricky's house, because he's got a bigger place, more room. We get 6 feet apart.
No, he just wants to be next to your cars.
So again, I just want to say, God bless everybody, and keep your chins up, and
Keep on keeping on.
keep on keeping on, right? So we're going to cover a couple things tonight. One of them being stressing out along with the COVID-19 thing going on. And I know that sometimes a lot of these guys, unlike any other form of RC, when it comes to the drag racing, it seems like people will start going at each other. You know what I'm saying? And we have a little segment of why all these different cars that aren't drag cars here are sitting here.
Drag race.
Is a reason to a way to unwind from this and get into this and do what we call cross training, just like a professional baseball player goes in his off season and plays golf or football or something. He cross trains. It's just a different skill honing. So we'll get to that. The other thing I want to cover is Gabe is going to bring us through some of the easy ways to start up an NPRC ring in your area, and the do's and the don'ts, and what has worked for us, and what may not work for you, or whatever the aspects are. We want to go over that. And along with those two things, I want to go and have a little rap session with my guys here about this constant nagging on the internet with people just, wanting to do this or change the rules, or, we got to put an end to this, guys. I mean, everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's done. So we'll rap about that a little bit. And then I want to make the announcement of the 12 and under class. So starting next race day, it's not going to take long. I'm hoping that those 5 or 6 kids on every one of the 707's race days, I'm going to put out of my own pocket a small cash prize up for any kids that want to come with one of these drag cars that is consistent of the NPRC rules. So body that covers the tires, all rubber tires, no prep, yada, yada, yada. But on top of that, it has to have a brushed 12-turn tracks. It's about a $40 setup. It's a really cheap way to get your kids into it, and I totally want to go over it because that's what we're doing with these 2 cars here. So without further ado, let's talk to Gabe a little bit about, you wanting to tell people about, starting up a club in your area. There's a lot of guys that... I remember the last year I've seen a lot of guys like, hey, I'm in Kentucky. Is there anybody here? Is there anybody there? And they didn't know anybody. They didn't have any groups. They weren't lucky enough to grow up in the same area like we all did and know each other.
RC's pretty big in our area. We got a bunch of different aspects of it. We got crawlers. We got the ground pounders, on-road racing. We got a drift crew that does stuff at Fundemonium. And that's kind of ties right into probably the biggest thing when it comes to getting an NPRC list or group going in your area is doing it on a setting a standard weekend for doing your top 10 racing. So those who don't know, in the Sonoma County NPRC, we decided on the 3rd Sunday of the month. And the reason why we landed on the 3rd Sunday was first Sunday is Ground Pounders. The Ground Pounders is an on-road racing group that does it in on-road racing. Second Sunday is rock crawling, scale rock crawling. So we'll do 3rd Sunday. Yeah. And so we race 3rd Sunday for our top 10. And that's, anybody that wants to come out and challenge for our list or anything like that. If the weather dictates that we can't race, we just skip that month. We have to. We can't reschedule it because if it's not on a known weekend every month, this is it. If it rains... you can't race. We're just going to skip that month. But it allows people to plan out their whole summer because there's people that are into all different types of racing or different types of hobbies. And there's a couple other groups around NorCal that, Lake County's doing pretty good. I think they race like every other weekend or something like that. Maybe Brandon Small can chime in on when they race. But I think they do like 2 races a month. And as far as I know, it's a set schedule. Where another group, they had use of a fairgrounds, and they could only race when the fairgrounds would say, "Hey, we're open this weekend." So
Time to find another road.
Yeah, it was like, oh, we're racing this weekend. And
okay,
it's like,
so
well, people are like,
to recap real quick, Gabe.
Yeah.
Gabe has set it as we have some other entities of RC hubs that run here in Sonoma County. Again, we're grateful we have a lot of people into this around our area, and they already had the 1st and 2nd Sundays locked down, so Gabe here chose the 3rd Sunday as our Sunday. Now that works out good because everybody's on a set schedule. It's only there's no excuses to get
apparently there. Easter is on the 3rd Sunday of the month, so
okay. With that one draw.
Yeah, and so but we just say, sorry, it's the way it is, and it's
the drawback is if it rains, we don't race next weekend. Now, granted, this is all stuff. If there's things you guys want to do in your area, you guys can all get together on every Sunday. Then that's fine.
It can be a Saturday. It can be whatever days you guys want. But it's got to be a set day so that at the beginning of the season, everybody can go through their calendars, say these are our race days, and we can plan out the rest of our weekends accordingly. There's people that go camping, there's people that go out and do stuff where if you don't have a set weekend that you race, you're not going to have a lot of people that want to sign up and go through all the stuff that it takes to get onto a top 10 list just to find out that the next race day they can't even show up and they might get blown off the list just to start from scratch.
So that's what I was going to chime in and say is it does keep it even more fair.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like me, I mean, I started 2.5 years ago, man. I didn't know nothing. These guys, you know, I asked Gabe a couple questions, asked Charlie, hey Charlie, a couple questions, and next thing you know, boom, I had liftoff, you know,
Second and fourth
and what's that?
Yes. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, so Lake County chimed in, and they raced in the second and the fourth Sundays.
Okay.
So
for their group of guys, that
two
works,
weekends a month, which is great. You know,
that's what works.
You guys
for
got
them.
more energy than I do. I can't run 2 races a month, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's.
And what Gabe means by that is Gabe's a busy guy, just like we all are. And Gabe actually does this at his work. He's nice enough to talk to his supervisors and get permission.
We have permission. That's another one of the points is, you know, probably the hands down about the biggest thing about setting up a race group in your area is finding a place that you have permission to run at.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's the thing is, you know, me being the person that puts it on, I almost don't want to say this here because but the thing is when you put it on, it's on you. Everything's on you. Legally, it's on me. When I put on my races, if somebody gets hurt, guess who gets sued? I do.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why we hammer down on, look, safety, no driving the cars, you know, no test runs in the pits for crying out loud. Go off to the side, you slow returns and stuff like that. It's pretty tough. You know, I mean, now, you know, like Windsor Bowl, when we were looking for a place, Windsor Bowl actually reached out to Jake, who was our local hobby shop.
Really?
And said, hey, we want you guys to run there. Well, we went to check out their spot. His parking lot's only 145 feet, and it was like, oh, man, our track's 132 feet. We can't run here, man. There's no shutdown.
So here's
time.
what you do: is you drill a crap load of holes in the ground, right? And you have a third channel server that drops a pin down.
Yeah.
So all you do is hit the button and it stops.
We joked about going and buying a bunch of junk pillows to put on the end of it because it was a great. I mean, he has a bowling alley. He's got our video arcades for the kids, and we still actually are talking about, you know, maybe once in a while doing eighth mile races out there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, you know, kind of again back to circle around to doing your top 10 on a solid weekend. That's what's important, is doing your top 10. You can run cash days. I tell everybody at our races, hey, you're always welcome to run cash days races. And I think Ricky's run one. Dano's run quite a few. And, you know, anybody's welcome to run races. We just don't allow any top 10 stuff there unless, you know, 2 drivers are like, yeah, no, I'm 7th and 8th and this we want to race together.
Because when you get
you know?
as serious to be on a bigger list and you've worked that hard and you've gotten that far, you know, if Gabe were to chime in and go, you know what, guys, we got it rained out 3rd weekend, let's do it this weekend. Well, I set my whole schedule up. I haven't missed a race in almost 3 years. I'm there every single race, and I've set my schedule up. So that's what it's for, is to keep it fair, so that somebody who's worked hard like me doesn't get knocked off the list because they had their something go on, you know?
Yeah, the group that runs at the fairgrounds, you know, they, like I said, they just get called up from the fairgrounds. They have to call them up and say, oh, you can run this weekend or you can run that weekend. They have a real hard time, and I honestly don't think their list is even valid anymore. I don't think they've been updating it because they just don't even get 10 drivers to show up, as far as I know. But, I mean, that's the biggest thing that I found is setting a set weekend for just your top 10 races. Again, you know, do cash days races. If you can get, you know, if I could get somebody to do cash days races every weekend, I would love it. You know, they can all borrow the equipment that I've got set up for it. We got start lights made by, you know, Jake's Hobbies. We've got all kinds of equipment that I lend to people. Daniel's got it right now because he was going to run the last race. But so it's, you know, setting a set weekend and then having a legitimate place to race. You can go on Google Maps. If you download Google Earth Pro, you can actually look on Google Earth and actually measure out parking lots ahead of time to find out. And you basically need about 300 feet for a good shutdown. You know,
I just want to say thank you to the Lake County guys. You guys are awesome. I'm
Lake
sorry.
County's great, man.
Lake
I'm
County
sorry.
gave Jim $300 cash. LOL.
So let's cover one more thing about the races. A little bit different kind of racing that I do. I'm big in doing in this area, and that is the cash days. And then we're going to get right into... let's talk about some of these rule changes that people want to make and stuff, okay?
Yeah.
The other kind of... Now, he's talking about, you know, your areas, has a race master, and he's found a place, and he's able to put it on consistently, and that's for your top 10 guys. Now, what I do is I like to do a cash race. It's a $20 or $25 buy-in. We like to do them at night. The ambiance is just a little bit more awesome at night, I think. It adds some realism to it. I set up some lights. We use a light clicker in the middle. It's a teched race, so your car is impounded after it passes tech. But there's two ways to do a cash race. On one way you do it, you can get busted by the cops, okay? Because you're on a street having a remote control car race. Hello. The other one is in a parking lot. And even though you might go into a parking lot and it looks really empty and nobody's there, nobody's going to come and harass us, I can have the race here. Well, where you're going to get busted there is a security guard. Now let's look at this. If you could get, the last thing you want to do when you hold a race, if you have a cash days or anything like that, is have somebody break up the race. Because then, whether you got to give the money back or whatever it is like that, it's just a big hassle. So I've actually never had a race broken up. And the reason why I choose the streets is because the cops, once they pull up on you, and somebody who like me is holding a race, I walk right to the officer and I'm respectful to him. I say, look, we're having an RC car race. We'll be out of here in 45 minutes. And I have everybody hold their cars up. He's got better things to do. He's got DV calls and DUIs and stuff like that, okay? The security guard, guess what he gets paid to do? Anybody tell me?
Harass people.
To throw people off of that property. So even though he thinks it's cool and he don't want to make you leave, he's got to make you leave or he's not doing his job. That's all his job is, So I have actually, if you guys can find, I'm not suggesting anybody go play in the street, but if you guys have a place in your area and you're looking to do a cash days, I would suggest finding a decent stretch and surface that you guys can run on, but also be somewhere out where there is no traffic. We actually use a road that goes down the back of our airport because nobody ever drives it on a Friday night or a Saturday night. So, look for something like that, and I guarantee you're going to have better luck, having a cop drive by and go, okay, guys, have fun, be safe, rather than having a security guy go, guys, I really think I don't want to make you guys leave, but I have to, I've had that happen to me just practicing with my cars. So that's the only input I have about the cash races. I have one coming up next Saturday on the 4th. If it doesn't get rained out, if this stuff is okay and it's kind of going downhill, it's probably going to get canceled because the corona. I don't want to, break a city ordinance just to have a remote control car race. So let's get some feedback from Randy and Rick. Is there anything you guys want to add to that as far as, starting up a new...
No, I think that's great. I mean, I was talking with another guy that's out in Antioch that wanted to start up a kids race and get information. I didn't have any, so I reached out to the Lake County guys that were already doing it. Yeah. And they gave me, told me basically the rundown, basically the same thing, and so I related to him so he can start up his kids racing out there. Okay. For all the kids out there, and I think it's great.
Go ahead and look at the rules on. We've got the rules posted on a pinned document in our group. If you go to our group, find any posts, scroll all the way to the top of that group, and you'll see pinned posts or something like that, or documents. Charlie Swinka went and wrote all the rules out for me, and there, we went for I would say 99% of the rules from the national Nprc. We did change it up where the national Nprc rules state, anybody can show up and challenge the number 10 guy. Well, we've got 30 people that, on average, that show up to challenge our people. So I'm like, well, we can't do that. So we
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good point.
Yeah, and so, the one thing I want to say about starting a list in your area, okay? And here's the truth. Here's how I became the dude that runs it. I was a dumbass that actually posted the first top 10 list on Facebook because we had all these people that were racing. We would get together, and everybody's going, we should start a list. We should start a list. We should start a list. And I'm going like, so somebody started. And, we should do that. Like, do it then.
But then what they really was saying, hey, we should start a list.
I'd gone through and I'd done about 4 or 5 races with people, just get-togethers with people, and I went, shit, we've got, and I think at the time we had like 7 people that were at the current race, and we all raced together, and when I just stopped everybody. I said, okay, everybody line up where you think you would be. The fastest dude on the left, slowest guy on the right, And everybody lined up. And I went, okay, and I made that list, and I posted that list, and it just blew up from there. Where people, first off, how can you have a top 10 list with only 7 people? Well, shit, only 7 people showed up that day. Like, if there's 3 open slots. Yeah. And so the next race we had, I think the first race we had 15 people that wanted to come and get on the list. And that's, that's basically how I became the person that runs this stuff, is I was the dumbass to post the list. So it's fun, don't get me wrong.
So
but
Gabe
that's what it takes, is one
here.
person. Just go to your group. If you guys don't have a Facebook group started, start one in your area. Talk to your local hobby shops about promoting it, letting people know.
Local hobby shops
and
are great
grow.
outlets.
It will grow. And I'm telling you, just post up. Get at least 4 or 5 people that are in a group. You race and just say, hey, here's our top 10 list, and put 5 people on there. Make sure those 5 people are okay with whatever order they're in. After that, it's going to explode. Trust me. Like, you will get people that want to join up, and people love that top 10 list. They want to, they want to get on it.
Yeah.
And I was struggling at first, going like, well, it's it's so hard to get people on the list, and we have 30 people coming out every time, and I had people coming up to me like, oh man, like last race, the first race I came to, I got blown out the first round. Second race I came to, I got blown out the second round. And then now I made it this time. We made it to the third round.
Yeah, and it's exciting.
And it's exciting for me.
I remember going back to
what didn't dawn on
me.
me was, it's just, it lets people know, like, you are improving the further you can get. I mean, sometimes you get blown out first, second, and then the third round, you might get blown out the first round or whatever, but just pay attention to who beat you and see how far they went. And if that guy goes on to win the thing and then get on the list, know that you're actually doing pretty good, even though you went back to getting blown out in the first round.
I'd like to remind everybody, Gabe, as long as I've been doing this almost 3 years on Gabe's list, and Gabe doesn't even race the races. He just comes out and does this for us. So I think that's really awesome. I'd like to give Gabe I'm not touching that microphone. All right, Gabe. And just so everybody knows how big I talk about our list and our guys all the time. We have our top 10 guys, and they are some of the fastest guys in the country, okay? And then on average, would you say that to run the eliminator round to try and get a golden ticket to call out the number 10 guy, we have on average about 30 people show up. So we have a very big area of
we got about 40 people. I mean, if we continue at this rate, we might actually have to split it into 2 groups.
Yeah.
If we can find somebody else to run it, run a second group, and do a northern Sonoma County and southern Sonoma County, so we get two top 10 lists.
Yeah.
And then Rick Turner, you can't be on that. You can't be on both of those because you're already on like 2 or 3 lists. Rick. Rick was started out in the north.
Rick started the list brothel.
Yeah. And I think Rick Turner's on the NorCal list. He's on the Sonoma County list, and I think he might have made. I think he's on the Lake County list now too. So
oh snap!
I think he's on 3 lists.
So hey guys, let's talk about something right now. Let's just do it. Let's talk about the rule changes people want to make. Hold on. Let me just start. Whether we talk pros or we talk cons, or no matter who chimes in, what's said here, I want to say that I've been doing this for 3 years. And the only thing I noticed is there's never, ever, ever been a desire or a want or a need to change any of our rules until after Rick Bellotti took the Ghost to Vegas and won. And then it just happens to be that the rules that this certain group of guys keep bugging everybody on the internet about changing, or, oh, hey, it's coming, they just happen to be the 1 or 2 things that the Ghost had, Lexan pieces on the body that these guys are just hell-bent, and it's actually starting to steer people away. So, right off the bat, without naming any names, you guys stop it, knock it off, make it go away, because you guys are, if you guys have the time and the people and the money to want to get in and start another class and get into like, hey, this thing's got to have no spoiler on it, and it's got to have a guy in it like VTA, and you got to have a roll cage in the front and the back windows, and you have to have headlights and brake lights, and you can only have a 3-inch wheelie. Well, that's one thing. That's not what this class is. That's a different class. So that's all I got to say about that. And I have 17 different cons that outweigh the one thing of the only thing that anybody that wants to change them can admit is that I just don't like them. So what is your feedback, Gabe? Somebody who's been not only the race master for as long as I've been doing it, but a race master on one of the fastest, if not the fastest lists in the country.
So I'm going to say it right now. We are the fastest list in the country, and I like anybody to challenge us that's not. Anyways, with that said,
boom. I got airfare
I'm in a big group, and I'm probably going to pop up of a message thing, because if circling back around, if you are trying to start a group list in your area and you want to abide by Nprc rules, let me know. Give me a shout out. Just if you want, just post on a page or send me a message. But we have actually a group that Tyler and what's his name, Tim Smith started that have a. It's basically a Facebook chat that's with all of the race masters, and so that's where people are talking about rule changes and all this stuff,
which is kind of like the Senate.
Yeah,
for Nprc,
pretty much.
okay?
And that's the thing. And so everybody can be on the same page, and that's the thing is I threw out the question to them, and there you have it. Somebody stated about how they didn't like the wings, and I said, well. What is somebody posted on the group like, oh, what do you guys allow for tire saucing? And so I tried, a bunch of people replied. I finally got a chance to reply. I said, we don't allow tire saucing at all. Anything that leaves a mark on the ground, you're good. Oh, but you guys allow the big stupid fucking wings. Well, so dude, what is your problem with the wings? Like, you tell me right now, you want to change these rules of the wings. What's your problem? They look stupid.
It's not scale.
Okay,
it's not scale. Like, well,
I don't like green cars. Right. So anybody that races our list, no more green cars, dude. Get rid of your bodies. Green cars are fucking done.
He's like, oh, they don't look scale.
I don't like them.
He sends me a picture of the cars.
Green
like,
cars
they don't look
ugly.
Scale. Like, no, they look like the toy cars that they are.
Exactly.
Hobby grade toy cars.
I can't do that. I can't out green cars because I don't like green. Okay, I can't do that. You got hardworking guys, most of which are just figuring this out. They don't know what they're doing like some of us. And every time you kick their tires, per se, you're just making them go a little bit more and more at a time.
All of a sudden you see it posted on Facebook Marketplace.
I can't tell you, since these group of guys have been drilling it in different areas, racing, that, hey, the rules are changing or this or that, or no matter what drama that is that's going on, dude, it really is. I'm having people message me, and I'm having people ask me, dude, what's going on? I'm new to this. I want to build a car, but they're talking about changing the rules now, and it's just creating a false sense of uncertainty in the class, and it just needs to stop. We are totally open to other classes, okay? This has certain rules. It has to be 2S. It has to be short course truck length. It has to have a body that covers all four wheels. It has to have an actual transmission, not direct drive. It has to have all four shocks in working order with no lockouts. And the battery can be charged no more than 8.44, which is kind of weird because real racing and Aurora and Norca and stuff is usually 8.40. But 8.44, I'm going to take the 4S because that's the way the rules were written.
Well, but it was also for the variance in the battery chart, in the balance of the battery tester.
I mean, look, this but right here.
The original list of rules that Tim came up with were great, and that's the thing is it allowed so many people to come in and build a car and tweak with all these little idiocies that fall within the rules. Yeah. And as soon as you start making more rules, all of a sudden you become like Formula One, where
it rules it out.
The person that got the car pass of the year, he made more passes than anybody. He passed 4 cars. Because it's just so stupid. Nobody wants to join when you got a whole list of rules, and when you start making rules on the wings, then everybody starts feeling, well, I have to have a wing, and if it can't be any more than 3 inches, I have to make sure it's at least 2.95 inches. Otherwise I can't be fucking competitive. And it's like that's not how it is. People, we make a rule about the VHT and all the tire traction additives.
I'll say it right now. Hey,
you weren't using any traction additives when you won the king of the streets.
Not a damn thing.
I'm going to say it to the world right now. Hey,
using it. It doesn't help.
I'll take any one of my cars for $500 cash and race anybody. You can have the $500. It won't say a thing. I will cut mine level and run just the spoiler in the back, just the deck. I'll even run that flat, and I'll still run the car. And if you can outrun me, I'll put $500 on it. That's how these wings are not. They are, again, I don't know how many times I gotta freaking say this, and then 2 days later I see it on the internet again. Hey, we're gonna change the spoilers and no canards. And okay, first of all, they're known as Judnards, okay? Because let's face it, even though in the real world they're canards, I'm the first one that you started using canards, dude. Okay, just like the big spoilers, I'm the one that started that trend. We are not gonna change this stuff because you don't like it, and don't think for a second that this spoiler make this car just 12 miles an hour. but you can outrun it because it's what's going on inside the car, not because of the spoiler. This is one of 80 things in this car: the suspension, the ride height, the toe, the droop, the weight proportioning in the chassis, the tweak on the bar, the gear ratio, the tune. There's so many things that make this car do what it does.
You talk to anybody that runs speed runs, and I know Tim Smith used to run speed run cars. There's certain bodies,
and they're fast as hell. I take my hat off to him, dude. Those are some of the fastest cars in the world.
There's certain bodies that they have to use, and it's down to like 2 bodies. I mean, like I know that the one body that's now discontinued is like a McLaren F1 for 8 scale speed run cars is now discontinued. It was the only car that did not generate lift at over 100, at over like 80 miles an hour.
Okay,
and so you got these short course cars, which are the bodies are designed for short course racing. They're not designed for speed runs, and they generate lift after a certain speed.
And for aesthetics.
And for aesthetics, yeah. And I mean, it's.
I'm not racing for aesthetics.
So, if all of a sudden you want 86 spoilers or canards, then I got news for you. Everybody will be running. It will all funnel down to where everybody's running the Corvette body, or everybody's running the J-Mod body, or some particular body. And all of a sudden now, oh wow, great! Now how does your race look when all the cars are the same? They're just painted different.
Yeah.
Well,
look, the reason why I brought up the side I did is because it's either that, or that you just don't like them. And wah. You know what I'm saying? Well, if you don't like them, I'm sorry. I didn't build this car for you. I built this one for my daughter.
And that's kind of what upsets me is, I unfortunately didn't make it out to the Vegas race, but I'll tell you what, if I was out at that Vegas race, no offense, Tyler, but I would have had some words with you about not saying anything about how the dude that you let lose to Ricky and took second place. The guy that took second place was using tire additive. He was using traction compound. Okay, we've seen it. There was video proof that he left sticky marks on the ground. If I was running that race, he would have been disqualified after that race, and I would have gone back to the dudes that took third and fourth, and had them race each other, and they would have taken second place.
Yeah.
But it's bullshit to give somebody money that was cheating.
But on my night right races, I don't want to be a full-on dick. So what I'll do is I'll say, hey, you got 2 minutes to go change to another set of tires and pass tech.
But the rules were stated ahead
of
time.
You're
rules
right.
were ahead of time.
So at a big race with the money, that's it.
The very first time we ran a Cash Days race here, we had the same issue where somebody that came in made it to the final round, turned out the guy was using a tire traction additive. VHT. And and I talked to Daniel pulled me aside and I said, Daniel, like, did you post that it had to be NPRC rules ahead of time? And I don't think he did. And I said, okay, well, that's his in with using traction additives because you didn't state what rules there are. So if you're going to do a top 10 race, you're going to do a Cash Days race, you got to state your rules ahead of time.
Yeah, and remember, guys, there's a difference between using traction softener and traction conditioner, and then or rubber conditioner, and there's a difference between that and using something on the tire that stays on the tire. The stuff I use is Protect Red from A-Main. It stays wet for a couple minutes. I sit out in the sun. It's totally dry. It's gone. All it did not add anything to the surface of the tire. All it did was soften the rubber up and make it super clean. Sometimes when my car's really hooking, I don't even use that. I'll just use baby wipes and just clean the tires. Then when they dry, then I go to town because I know they're clean. Exactly. But what we're getting at is look, man. We want to get along with everybody. We didn't set out in this. I never thought in 30 years of doing RC cars that there would be a group of guys that were constantly throwing rocks at everybody else's rides. I mean, this is a class that's already been here. Let it go. We're not going to change. If I want to put a Lexan Mohawk on my car, I'm going to do that. That's my personality. These rules were written as a blank book, and in the book was written on the first page, the beginning, and in the middle of the book, it was the middle, and at the end, it was the end. And those 3 things written in the book were the rules, and the rest of it you got to write. Well, now you guys are wanting to throw parts of the story in, and that just isn't going to happen, dude. So, we all want to get along. We all, that's why we're making these videos so the guys that aren't that fast can get faster, and to want to change what we or anybody else in the country is doing because you don't want to achieve that or you can't achieve that is not fair. Aside from the fact of the money I'm going to have to spend in my cars to change everything, the time it's going to take times what? Between us 3 on 707 Street.
What it does is it stifles the ingenuity. Nobody then wants to go out and try anything different because they're going to be afraid that their stuff's going to get, disbanded or outlawed or whatever. if your car, whatever you want to try and change, fits within the current rule set, try it. You know, I mean, that's, you know, like there's this new like Bugatti Veyron looking body, you know, and people, oh, is this legal? As far as right now, the only thing that cover does the body cover the tires, you know?
And if people want to do a more scale thing,
yeah.
you got to start a new class. And
and
here, ladies and gentlemen, is how you start a new class. These two cars at our event. So we're going to run this, and hopefully, if other people want to do this too for their children, then maybe they can reach out to Gabe, and Gabe can come up with this association of race masters that's in this thing, a mutually agreed upon set of rules for this class, and we'll all abide by them, okay?
Yeah.
So what we're going to start this with, this is a new class, it's called Junior, okay? And this is going to be NPRC rules. It's going to be, you know, all the NPRC rules that have always been there. You know, rubber tires, body that cover, SCT length, yada, 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 except for one thing. These are brushed 12-turn Titan motors on 2S. Still no more than 8.44. You have to run the Traxxas system. It's why don't you go ahead and rip the body off that, Ricky? Yeah.
So do you think AVC should be allowed in that class?
No, because that's not teaching the kids how to race. And that's how I would like to start it in our area. You know, if I turn that on for Emma, she wouldn't learn anything, dude. I want her to figure out.
I think a lot of. I mean, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
A lot of it for starting new people out is, you know, just trying to figure out. I mean, I'm telling you, like the first time I went out to a race was out at the NorCal group, and my like second race that I went to, or the second race I was in, I jumped the light.
Okay.
You know, because I was nervous. You know, it was the first time I'd ever, been in a race like that or whatever. And I didn't jump the light. I actually bumped my throttle.
Yeah, I've done that
just
before.
Grabbed my thing because my finger was shaking, my hands were shaking. I bumped the throttle. And before the guy that was calling the races even said, "You're out," I just turned to the guy and said, "Man, I'm sorry. Good race."
Yeah.
You know,
okay, well, hold on. Let me say this
I was out.
What the rules for this class will be
will
be up to you, because you're the race master. And
Well,
this other group of guys that go, hey, we saw what Dan was talking about, and let's all write out a set of rules and take a vote on it, and let's start this class.
So the only thing, maybe we can have people chime in, but I'm just, I'm wondering if they're, because I know that Emma's good with RCs.
So for right now, as far as the gyro, run as you brung. As long as your car's NPRC and it has a 12-turn, run what you brung. If it's a 5-year-old and the 5-year-old needs ABC, well, I have no problem with that.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I say we might.
Okay, and if you guys want to change that, sorry, Ricky, if you guys want to change that, that's fine. Okay.
We've got, there's who was the God? There was someone that brought out. Was it your kid?
Chase.
Jesus Christ, the kid made it to like the semifinals. He was almost on our top 10 list.
He's one of those just kids that just went, huh? And he just picked it up. And he's running full-on sponsorship stuff, like we're some of, the same stuff that we're running for our sponsors.
I think if if the kids go through and they win when the kids challengers elimination or whatever it is, maybe that kid can then. Now they're actually not allowed to go back into it or whatever.
So here's what we're gonna do. At our race, we're going to start a class called Junior, which I would say just hypothetically to start this, say 12 and under.
12 and under, or anybody that
Do we know if his girlfriend wanted to come out and run one, would she be okay?
I mean, that's
she's
the thing.
Never touched one.
I think it's a skill set thing where I've seen 40 and 50-year-olds pick up an RC transmitter and after 5 minutes, they're going, let me see that thing. Let's dial this back for you because you're not getting it.
Yeah.
Know? So, at first started as, say a 12 and under thing, or let us know, like, you got to be honest, because you're going to go up against kids or whatever.
So let's call it Junior Rookie.
Junior Rookie or something
Junior
like
Rookie,
that. Yeah,
okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
And this is going to be the NPRC rules, right, Ricky? So take us through this car, you guys, of what this car has that our big cars have.
Everything except for the brushed motor and speed control.
There you go. So what we're trying to do, now this is Emma's, and obviously Emma gets a lot of my hand-me-down parts that are really nice, right, Emma?
This is my 3-year-old.
This is his 3-year-old's car. This is a stock slash. So at Jake's Performance Hobbies in Roner Park, I think for $120 or whatever, you can get a a slider, which is the whole car except for the wheels and tires and any electronics and stuff. So for $100, you can get the car ready to build into a drag car, and plus a body and wheels and tires and one of these brush systems that we're trying to keep it cheap. So the reason why I want to do this is obviously because I have children, and I see a lot of guys that are bringing kids out to the track, and they're either sitting in the car or they want to get involved, but they're like, hey, Dad's running his car. Well, let's involve these kids, man. They're the next generation of the sport. They really are. And I want them to come out and learn 2 things: how to win, how to lose, well, 3 things, and how to have fun, and do that. And I think that a lot of the guys who aren't as fortunate as Emma's father or Rick's father, or you know what I'm saying, that are able to spend a little bit extra money on the car, that for the guy that's just got his car going and he's barely being able to keep up with it with the technological changes in the sport, that he can get his kid into it super cheap. We're talking cars like $250 altogether.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We can, if we get enough kids, we can start a top 10 list for under.
There you go. So
a
absolutely,
top 10 list,
yeah. So, and I think what gave me the idea was the guys in what was it, Chico? We were having this race in the 28. Reading. Okay,
530.
The 530 guys in 530. What's up? They kind of said that, hey, we're going to have the junior class. It's 12-turn Titans, and then I started thinking, well, let's make a class out of this. So thank you guys for setting the idea in my head. I want to see in the next couple months if we can get more kids into this, more kids out of the car off their games and out there running remote control cars, and do it cheaply and have fun doing it. So this is Emma's contender for this year to start this at our races. This is a Traxxas, really cheap speed control, whatever the brushed one is that comes with the brush, Rustlers and Bandits, all of them, okay? And this is just a 12-turn brush Titan motor. That's all it is. It's nothing fancy. I think they're $15 or $20, or I don't know what they are. I didn't even buy this one.
Give them Rick Turner shit.
And other than that, I mean, you can put this electronic setup in a full-blown race car, or you can put it in a stock Slash or whatever, and the kids are going to have fun, man. And then you'll, the racing that you're into while they're sitting in the car or whatever, then they're doing it too. And it's a little bit more work to work on your kid's car too, but man, when they're involved, it is just a passionate connection that you make between your child that's interwoven with racing that is just second to none, man. And that's what racing is to me. So this is what we're starting. We're going to call it Junior Rookie. You got to get a 12-turn Titan. You got to get a brushed speed control. These are really cheap. You can pick them up at your local hobby shop. Jake's Performance Hobbies in Roner Park, 707-586-3375, is also the guy that sells the sliders, also has all the takeout electronics too. So he's got bags and bags and bags of them. So get out there. If you got a couple extra bucks, you're looking for something to do while you're cooped up in the house, put one of these cars together for your kid. Emma, what do you think about racing this Junior Rookie class?
Yeah.
Hey, Emma's I want us to give a shout out to RC Divas. I think they're in Texas. Show your shirt, Emma. Come on, get up and show your shirt. This shirt is awesome. RC Divas, a group of girls, and it's a web page or a Facebook page you can check out. If you got a little girl, get into them. They got some swag. They got some cool stuff for RC girls. Thank you, Emma. Emma's in our fall line of RC Divas. I want to give a shout out to Jill Miller. Jill Miller, I believe, is with the RC. I want to also give a shout out to the RCDRL in Texas and that organization. They run a good tight ship. And Jill Miller, and hey, what's up? And Randy Lathrop, if you're watching, how's it going? So is there anything else, Randy?
We got people asked to be a Traxxas ESC.
Yeah.
I think that they're cheap enough that that should be one of the requirements.
That's what I think. Yeah. I mean, I myself have 2 or 3 laying around.
If you can't get one of these from your buddy that isn't using them for free, you can get one brand new for, what do they go for, guys? $25, $20, $30. I mean, it's and it just keeps it stocked. So,
Charlie, I mentioned you already. Trust me. I give you props for writing my rules for me.
Yeah.
Oh, Joyce, you didn't mention me. Yeah, I did. I give you props for writing the rules,
Charlie's
you
the
just
Yoda.
chimed in late, homie. Sorry. Bam!
Emma, drop it.
Don't drop it. It's too pretty.
Yeah. Sorry, he sent me a message saying that stuff. It didn't show up on the deal.
So is there...
Sent me a private message.
Well, now you got a second shout out.
Yeah, we mentioned you, man.
Charlie's your private dancer. Dancer for money. I know. Oh, man.
So yeah, stock Traxxas ESC for the kids class.
This car has got a stock 12-turn Titan, a stock Traxxas ESE, and a stock $10 Traxxas servo. And it's not that fast. It's maybe 15 miles an hour. It launches pretty hard. I actually had bumped her up from the Slash and built her this car to put a 4.5 and a hobby wing in it. I went out and ran it, and I was like, oh, there's no way she's going to be able... It was a Gorilla, so it was the vanilla Gorilla. And so I took that stuff back out, and right about the same time as I was wondering what to do with her this year for a powertrain is when the guys from Reading, the 530... they are the ones that gave me the idea of starting this junior rookie class. So if you have a girlfriend that you think maybe might want to come out to the track if you built her a car and you have fun with you, if you have a wife that do the same, maybe she only does it once every 2 or 3 months, but it's something to do together, right? Maybe it's your 8-year-old little girl or little boy who's really, really interested in yours, but you haven't built him one because you don't think that he or she can handle one of these, or this is they can handle this, man. This thing is a tame little unicorn. What?
I got proof that they can't handle it.
Yeah,
I guess my car was totaled.
That was
Janelle drive.
So this,
Hey, it was after the race.
RC car. This would be perfect for Janelle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This would be perfect for Tina,
She
right?
took it out with a bang, okay?
I've got a couple cars. I can get her in one.
Other than that, they're really cheap to get into. Is there anything else, Ricky or Randy, you guys want to add about the rule changes or anything like that?
No, there was one guy, Dennis Coleman. He said, "I agree with Gabe. How did that car pass tech? Talking about the sticky tire car. I don't want to beat the dead horse. It was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Whenever it came to tech, because I brought it up because it was against me that he was racing. That knocked me out the second round.
You actually told me that you got upset up there.
Oh, I was pissed off.
Hey.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Is and that's my point. That's my point. Is if somebody got beat by a car that broke the rules,
You're fine.
And then I watched I watched their
finals.
video, and there was somebody else that filming for him. It's like, yeah, that's the guy that beat me with sticky tires. The other guy, I can't remember. I think it was Jonathan Schultz, came up and said that he should have been disqualified because his tires were sticky, and that's against the rules.
Yeah, hands down against the rules. Hands down against the rules. I don't care whether you bought him money or not. If you bought him money, your car better abide by those rules.
Yeah,
but
nobody can say they didn't know. This race was. Tyler did a very good job at really thinking about what he was going to do and where he was going to do it, and how he was going to do it, and he put it out 3 months before. So there was plenty of time. Tyler and whoever it was that ran it with him, had plenty of time for these people to go, okay, well, this is the stuff I use on my tires at home, but I'm not allowed to use that at the race. So let me set the car up.
Even one of the guys that uses sticky stuff, he even said that he didn't use it at the race.
Mark Vine.
Yeah.
With the black third gen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rick apparently saw it ahead of time, so.
Everybody
we were calling it out.
And that's I wish I would have been there.
And the proof.
I would have. To be honest, I was planning on going, but I wanted to go to meet Philip Stubb and Coy, the other guys that run the other top 10 lists. The guys are from Colorado and guys from Arizona. I want to meet these guys that I've been messaging for a few years now on the top 10 list. Guys that manage this stuff. But I wasn't able to make it, and so I was able to just watch the videos. And that was the thing, is I'm just going, it didn't. There was a few things that I would have stepped in and talked to the guys running and be like, hey man, you should do this or whatever, because and that's I talked to them about doing a start light. They were talking about doing a flashlight at the start, and I'm going, you can't use a handheld flashlight because somebody's going to bitch on it. There's going to be a couple $1,000s in the line.
Yeah.
And somebody will bitch, oh, you moved your foot before you flipped the switch or whatever, and gave the guy a heads up that you're going to start it right then. It's there's just so much to these races, but when you start them, you got to set your rules and run by your rules. And if the cars fit the rules, great. If they don't, they're out, man.
Yeah, and you can't single someone out because they had tech on their car that met the rules that you just got beat by. Let me just say, you got beat by it. You know,
and that's
and you know what? I'm the kind of guy.
This aggravation is the fact that we're getting so much slack for having a car that beat the race that fit every single rule that was on there.
Yeah,
there were and now these guys want to make new rules to disqualify these particular cars. And it's instead of embracing the fact that
and we showed it in the last episode because they want to do no higher than the roof line. I think I was 3/8 of an inch in just the tip of the spoiler, and then the deck was supposed to be no more than 3 inches off the back, and it was 3 inches on the money. So you can't sit there and say you're going to change these rules and actually, talk to yourself trying to fall asleep at night thinking it's going to even the field, because it's not. I mean, me taking a 1/4 inch off the top of my spoiler is definitely not going to slow my car down. If anything, I just cut 8 grams off. Thank you. I mean, so let's stop inducing fear into guys that are just building this.
Someone just
Bob, haters gonna hate. Exactly.
Haters are gonna hate, dude.
And cheaters are gonna cheat, and that's the reason why.
What? Hey,
cheaters are gonna cheat, and that's when. But if you're gonna do tech inspection, you got to do tech inspection before and after each race.
Yep.
Every single race, every single round, and that's I personally hate tech inspection, and that's why I love our current set of rules, because you can damn near look at a car from 10 feet away and be like, it fits the rules. The only rule by that being that you can't test is whether they're running a 3-cell, or now the goddamn high voltage batteries. But when someone's running a 3-cell, you know it right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
We've had somebody show up just on our test days that was running a 3-cell, and halfway down the track, everyone went 3-cell. I mean, it's just so clear.
Yeah.
And so, but every other rule that's been in there is you can. I mean, it takes literally seconds to tech a car.
You want to know why my chassis are so goddamn fast? Because I squeeze every little bit of science out of them. I have science the crap out of these cars. And I have a degree in metallurgy and microelectronics. I'm a journeyman welder. I'm an ASE certified master tech. I've been doing this for 25 years, and I know how to run a lathe. I know how to run a 5-axis. I mean, there's nothing that I have not. No technology I haven't put into these cars. So, and you know what? Yeah. I share that technology. I can't tell me how many guys I've beat, especially some ones that went on to, after talking to me and getting some advice, went on to do very, very good, breathing down my throat. And that is, I'm here to help, man. And if you say, hey, man, instead of saying, cut your spoiler down because it's what beat us in Vegas, why not saying, hey, dude, what else do you got going under the hood of that car that makes it so fast? And I'll be like, hey, well, let me give you a breakdown. And we'll rap about it, and then I'll be fucking feeling good, and you'll feel faster, and you'll be faster, and we'll all get faster together. Instead of throwing lassos around people and pulling them back, that's not what this class is about.
Yeah,
dude.
It makes it so that, like I said, people be running the Chevy Corvette body or the J Mod Pro body, whatever it is. What's that, Super J? You get people that like Daniel. I mean, I hate flopping or whatever it does. I mean, Fords. But
that's a good one.
So guys that want to run Fords, there is no aerodynamic Ford body out there, and so so you got to run spoilers on them, but you have to. It's all a tuning thing. It's all tuning, and that's the thing is Daniel's taking the time to go out and tune, and that's what I tell people. People came out and were like, "Dude, how the hell did this guy come out? Where the last time he was out, he got blown out in the first round. I think he wrecked a car."
No, I never wrecked a car.
Yeah, you did in the testing or something. But it just, what I'm saying is you went out and you tested. Yeah. It was
when
just,
you're
and then all of a sudden
watching
you hit that
Cagney
point
and Lacey on the couch with your wife, I'm out testing.
You hit that point where your car is getting airborne. And you're going there's nothing else I can do to add downforce to the car or whatever, and that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And so trying to stifle this whole spoiler thing or canards thing, I'm sorry. But I'd like to know which one of the people said, "Oh, well, the canards are like a razor blade." Whoever came up with this thing.
So in 707,
they want to say that it's a razor blade.
This is what we're going to. You're no longer allowed to use body clips because body clips could hit you.
And that's
dude.
So guys want to 86 the canards. I'm sorry, the Judd canards. Because they say they're like a razor blade.
The Judd canards.
They say it's like a razor blade. Where if you're, somebody hits that.
First of all, let's talk about the rules. A dude that's not supposed to be standing on the track.
Yeah, you shouldn't be standing on the track. I personally have been hit by a car.
It hurts.
It was Fast Freddy hit me with a car, and so because I was running a race, and I'm like, I had a finish line, and so I'm giving it.
At Sears Point.
Yeah.
If anybody's been out to an international speedway, which we are lucky enough to have 10 miles away from us, I used to work out there for 18 years. Whether you're going out there to buy a Coke at the deli or you work out there or you're going to a race or whatever, when you pass that gate, every single car, every single person in the car signs a waiver because there's hot sides of the wall and there's cold sides of the wall. And if you stop over, if you're at an auto sport race and you're dumb enough to stand over to the hot side of the wall and you get hit by a race car doing 120 miles an hour, guess whose fault it is?
Yours.
Exactly, it's yours. Yeah. So if there's a guy that's that's at an RC car race and he's standing in the middle of the lane to get cut by a canard, well, maybe you ought to pull that guy aside and say, hey, man, we're having a freaking RC car race here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, now Freddie did not hit me on purpose, just to clarify all that. I was there. I saw the whole damn thing. His car was ripping down the track. Oh, I felt it. His car was ripping down the track, and this is when we were at another location, not where we run now. And for some reason, I was running the race and watching finish line, which was just stupid to begin with. But I'm watching the race, and he was full bore, and 5 feet before the finish line, his car it was at that Sour Tomatoes place, and the traction was horrible. And his car just pitched and just slungshot right into my ankle. And I went to jump up. Well, I put all my weight on my left ankle, and that's right when it hit my left ankle. And the bruise showed up on the right side of my ankle.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I was there
for that. It hit me that hard. Yeah, it hit me that hard. But I mean, that's the thing. And so I was just glad that it was me, because I'm like, well, I'm not going to sue myself.
That's going to be the name of the next car. I'm building another car right now. I've been thinking about a name. Ankle Breaker. That's the name. Just sit right down the hood.
So the point is, if the last thing that you need to worry about by getting hit by a 5 or 6 pound car going 60, 70 miles an hour is a little piece of Lexan sticking off to the side.
Yeah.
Because the weight of the car, I got hit square in the ankle, and first off, it didn't break my ankle. But second of all, it's just that, like, I've talked to a couple buddies, like Charlie was mentioning, to be like 8-scale racing. 8-scale racing, some of those guys, they're jumps along the straightaway. These guys are airborne at head height.
And these cars weigh 12 pounds.
Yeah, 12 pounds are going 60 miles an hour. And if one guy takes the jump wrong, he's taking out 2 or 3 drivers in the head. With an 8-scale truggy.
Yeah.
And so to say that we're 86 in the canards or the Judd canards because they're like a flying razor blade. It's just silly.
Trademark copyright, not to be used confused. Ring Bob Inc.
It's just silly.
Hold on. Here's what I'm saying is, what I meant to say by here's how you start a class is I'm saying, hey, these aren't the rules. Damn it, the juniors have to run a 22 pinion gear or whatever, because I'm the one that's going to I'm not making the rules. I'm saying this is how I start a class. This is what we are doing where we race, and hopefully it catches on. And when it does, I'm going to leave what I've created here to the consensus of the race masters through Gabe and everybody that's attached to that email to maybe refine it when it gets to that point, because we have so many kids now wanting to get into it. But until then, it's the junior rookie class. It got to run 2S, 12 turn, tracks of speed control, and Nprc rules on the rest of the chassis. And other than that, and
if anybody out there has anything else that you think we should add to the group, because there's only so much we can think of while we're on the spot here in front of cameras, chime in. Let us know. Hey, what about running something, stock tracks as tires or whatever. If there's something that you think would be good for the good of the group, that's not going to deter people from wanting to race, we're all down for it. But
no group of 4 or 5 guys is going to bitch hard enough to change the rules that have been set in place for 4 years for 10,000 guys across the nation.
The original set of rules that they came up with was perfect, and then now they want to change it because you beat them. And that's what I see.
Nobody had a problem with them before.
Hey, in 313 wins with the Ghost, how many people did you cut with the canard?
None. Maybe myself.
Yeah. That's what I told Jake. While you're making him, he's probably cut himself more.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody knows how sharp Lexan is. It could be sharp.
313 with me.
Was the Vegas, yeah.
Yeah.
So hold on, hey, Randy, if the camera can follow you, go in the top of there, and in the back of the stack on the left-hand side of crap, there's a notebook, a little notepad. Yeah, grab that out of there.
Is it the black book?
So people ask me, why is this the most winningest Nprc? So this is my notepad from 3 years ago, and I'm still adding to it constantly. It's dyno sheets from motors, it's pinion gears and setups that I was running the last race. But what I started 2.5 years ago is I started off the hash marks. So every time I won a race, just for, it was better than putting it down the side of the body, I made a hash mark. So there was 100.
Better than putting it down the side of the body.
Well, dude.
No.
Okay.
It's like a
anyway, so almost 3 years ago, when I say it's got 312 wins, I started from the back page because I knew I needed to work that way, and I wanted to work this way with my information. There's 100 wins. Then it went up, and you know what? I have to say I have been lying because at 202, no, because that would have been 5. So at 197 wins, I lost to Dante. I got put in the right lane all night long, and that's where I learned a lesson to never rely on the lane. When you go up to practice for a race, always run both lanes, always do it. I lost right there. Then I went on to 292, and I blew a tire out in the first round out of 4 to Tony. Remember that day I blew the tire out, and Tony beat me. And then the next 3 races, I stomped him again and held my spot.
Yeah.
And then...
No, other way.
Oh, other way. And then, damn it. Okay.
One
Hold on.
thing, not the whole thing. Come on, man.
So, and that was at 292. And then it went to 300. And then there was the last race day of last year and the first races we've had this year. And at 312 is when I sold the car to Ricky, and Ricky took it to...
Oh, I have to zoom in on
So I
that.
had a big one right here for the Vegas.
No, because this is the races that I have for me and when I had the car. But other than that, 9 cash days and
my rental ride.
Yeah. So, and I tell people this, hey, too, and this isn't cockiness, but when people want to say, this is how confident I am in our race chassis, okay? If you think that it needs to get into a bitching match, and, somebody brought up to the fact, well, dude, you don't race all over the United States, so how can you say that? I say, if you got anybody that you know in the lower 48, I will pay for a plane ticket for them to fly out here for a weekend, and I'll put $1,000 on it for the next 6 months, okay?
Question? Sorry.
What's that?
No, you're good. Randy, did you see Stan's question?
About A-arms and turnbuckles in the rear.
Okay.
I don't run a mid-motor car. I run the Pro SE10 chassis, and I put B5 arms.
You don't run an intercooler? What the?
I like my
What
turbo to
the
be
what?
hot.
Go on.
I just run B5 arms all the way around. I mean, and the B5 turnbuckles.
Yeah.
He's asking arms and turnbuckles. See the SE10. Yeah, the SE10. I did start out originally with an SE10, which is the B4 base, and I ended up putting B4 arms on it, and I was running 2.2s at the time, and I put axial 2.2 rims on there, and I ran that for a while, and then until I needed to go faster, and I couldn't. There was not enough part support for the B4 based C10, so that's when I went up to the Pro SE10, which was my second season is when I went to the Pro SE10, and it's just been phenomenal.
Okay, you lost me at this is what I do, bro. Associated guy here, that's, other than being a great guy and one of the fastest guys in the nation, we're proud to have Randy on the team because Randy brings something to the team that's a little different. He's doing what we're doing with something else that started to catch on, and we want to be able to, whether it's building and selling cars for people, or it's helping people, or it's being informational on what different drag chassis are doing, is that he's an associated guy. So he's running a totally different chassis than 99% of the rest of the class across the nation.
And it's competitive.
And it's going to get bigger because the DR10 is going to drop in a couple weeks whenever this, they get it all figured out. And there's more and more guys. I know that there's some guys like Tim Smith and Tyler. They've been able to do all right with the Associated cars. And I've always loved Associated stuff. It's a great platform there. It's nice. And the only thing I hate about Traxxas is this kind of precision, I mean, nothing's, 10 thousandths off is okay for them, which isn't what you get when it comes to an Associated car. It's more of a race car. So, 2 other things you got anything else you want to add, Ricky? Is there any questions from anybody? Let's take a quick break for questions. While they're looking for questions, I just want to remind you guys about Phantom motors and batteries. If you guys,
Commercial break.
Commercial break. Troy reached out to me and Ricky, and gave us a really, really good opportunity. And we're always going to be racing for the future. Expect amazing things to come.
2A, baby. 2A.
2A, yeah, there you go. Expect amazing new things to come from Phantom RC products. this is me and Ricky are somewhat heading or joint heading the R&D for a lot of the Phantom stuff that's in place right now, and the reason why we're so happy about that is because this is the stuff we run, and it's what wins races. So if you don't have any Phantom stuff and you're thinking about what battery to buy, what motor to buy, stop by Phantom stuff. It's high quality stuff. It doesn't have a super outrageous price tag, and you're going to win with it. So shout out to Phantom RC products. And in RCRI chassis and Hobby Wing. We got any questions, guys?
I just for junior racing.
I want to add. I want to add to the Phantom thing.
Okay.
I'm getting messages from people saying they've ordered Phantom and if they don't get their motors or their batteries or whatever it is soon, they're going to have to go another route. Well, I can tell you, Phantom doesn't have motors and batteries. Neither does anybody else because of the coronavirus.
Hobby Wings out of motors.
Troy's working diligently to get those motors in for you guys.
And Troy's also starting to get shipments in. Yep. So if you guys have ordered Phantom stuff, like Ricky said, be patient because the stuff's coming. It's worth the wait, okay? It really is. He's doing the best he can. This whole coronavirus did us all in, and our companies are just hurting from it. So, orders are as of this week have started to be fulfilled because the stuff is starting to roll in the door now. We expect to finish most orders off in the next week or two probably. Not speaking for Troy over at Phantom, but I kind of know what's going on over there, and I know that he's doing the best he can. He's done a really good job. We're actually. We need stuff for our cars for this season, and we told him to go ahead and fulfill orders. So the guys that have been coming to us, you're going to get your stuff before we got our stuff. So we want you guys to be happy. We want you to earn some W's. We want you to run Phantom. And we don't want you to run Phantom just because, Troy wants us to say that. We want to say that for Troy because this stuff is awesome, dude.
Saw what it did in Vegas.
It's dope.
I'm not sponsored at all. I run Phantom and I love it.
Yeah.
Well, where do I get one of those bowling shirts, man? That's what
Rick Turner.
I know, Mr.
Frank's
Sink.
giving me a hard time. He's like, dude, you look out of place against all the dudes in the bowling shirts.
On the
No,
back.
your Sink.
Or the
With the Black Street Boys.
Race Master.
The right stuff. First kiss was a sweet kiss.
Right here, Race Master.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I can do that. You want one? You like these red ones?
I don't think they make those in my Fat Boy size.
I guarantee you they do. I
guarantee you they do.
They'll custom make it.
No, I'll get you the shirt.
Right.
I'll get you the
These
shirt.
are
And
automotive quality.
that's what they are. They're really high.
So I know they make them big enough because I've seen some pretty big mechanics.
Yeah. Well, it is a bowling too. There's big bowlers. So.
You good, Emma?
So Chase can still race with us, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah, Chase, you
Okay,
can
so
still
hey,
race.
Yeah,
if you got a kid that's 9 years old and that kid can grab the trigger of a motor that's spinning 55,000 RPMs and send that car down 60 miles an hour, more power to him. My little girl isn't quite there yet. She's just, she's been around RC
Say hi,
cars.
Emma.
She's been around RC cars all her life, but she's still figuring it out. For those kids, that's what this class is for. This class is, we're going to call it junior and rookie.
Yeah.
So say 12 and under, or unless somebody's a really, really rookie. It's the first time they've raced.
We just don't want someone to bring their 10-year-old out and get blown out the first round and then not have a light for it because they got blown out by
we want to make this equal. So if Tina came out,
be in that group. It's more of a group for basically rookies and 12 and under.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean,
Janelle, you can race this car right here.
Janelle, it's got your name all over it.
That car. The other car that hit the fence is no more.
This is a great class. So, other than
you
that,
guys got matching shoes?
No.
My shoes match.
Oh.
oh, put that thing away, dude. Oh. Anything else, guys?
Ooh. So what's
Right.
What? Oh. You gotta bring Emma, can you bring the bunnies? One of the bunnies out?
Oh, Emma, you want to go get a bunny?
Grab a bunny.
Okay.
Oh, look at how
Can you do
fast
it?
she's going.
So, hey, after we see the bunny rabbit, okay,
Randy,
I want to
hold the cage open for us.
I want to explain something to people that maybe a problem that you might have had. I think I'm one of the first people that ever had the problem. It's with the Hobby Wing stuff. When they went from the G1 to the G2, they made a new software update. And sometimes, you'll go to plug into Tune, and your Hobby Wing speed control Wi-Fi Express hold on. We'll do an update, and when it doesn't update, it wipes the speed control out, and you think it's burnt out, but it's not. I'm going to tell you how to get that back and how to fix that. So stand by. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Sarah to the stage.
I don't know which one that one is.
It's the white one.
Sarah, this is little Sarah Bunny. She's one of my purebred racing bunnies. She's equipped with a twin turbo multi-port fuel injected V12. You can see the back legs, independent rear suspension. She's very aerodynamic. She's got two wings,
Adjustable wangs.
and she's just a cutie. This is one of Emma's little
canards?
girls. Those are canards. Yes.
I thought the whiskers were the canards.
Oh yeah,
those are the wangs.
yeah, those are the wangs.
Diffusers.
Yeah, and this one here is
this one's crazy.
This one's Bandit. Yeah, just pet her, and she'll stop. Yeah, there you go. Oh, she's curling up in your.
She likes the beard.
Yeah, you don't know what's in
My
that.
dog
girl.
does the same thing.
Yeah.
You want this crazy bunny back?
You want to put it back?
Okay.
Okay, so let me explain this.
Noe says hi, Emma.
She'll be back.
Here, let me grab this real quick. So what I want to do.
All right, you guys.
I guess it's us.
Smile.
Want to give a shout out to the guys from Hawaii.
Right?
808.
808.
808. Ow! The 707.
Okay.
The 808.
That's right, you lived in Hawaii for a while.
Oh, I thought those were tumors this whole time. I didn't know what those were. I'm like, did he have like a piece of rock put on him?
No, when I lived
Oh,
in
it is Hawaii.
When I lived in Hawaii, I got the islands and I got my last name. So if I got lost, they knew my name and they knew where I lived.
He's drunk on the beach.
Star where you lived? Right there.
Yeah.
There it is.
Baladi bra. Okay, so what I want to go over really quick, it'll only take a minute. For you Hobbywing guys out there that are doing tuning, this is the Wi-Fi Express, okay? Right off the bat, this thing weighs like 50 grams, okay? So you really don't want to run it in a drag car where weight is the name of the game, right? Another thing is from my, maybe I'm imagining it, but as far as my experience, when I have this plugged into my speed control, it's in programming mode. So for the guys that are mounting them in the cars because it looks cool or because you can do tuning on on the fly or whatever, when you have this plugged in, it's in programming mode. So not only are you adding weight to the car, but you're running the car in programming mode. So don't run this in the car, okay? This is for tuning. Here's another thing. Hold on a minute. Try to get your tuning and your testing done before the race, because I'll tell you why. When you got 12 of these guys out at the track and they're talking to each other and this and that, it's really easy for somebody just to open their Hobbywing link and the guy three cars down has his on and he's
no password set.
Password set, and it's which who does that with a remote control car, right? So you're able to look at his stuff. I mean, there's just all kinds
changing
of
everybody's parameters if they're still on.
So what were you gonna say, Gabe?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Okay.
Is if you don't change it, like I changed mine to me is the name of mine, but then I changed the password too, because if you use the stock password, you don't change anything like that, somebody's going to get it. They might not know it. They might know it for sure, and it might be on purpose or it might not be on purpose. But they'll change your tune, and
you'll only see me hooking one of these up to my car in the track. Very, very seldomly if I really need to pull a little power out of it, and I'll always walk 100 feet away and do it. I won't let anybody be next to me while I do it. So anyway, that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is once you get this out of the car, this is only for tuning. I keep it in this is a Futaba receiver case, and I keep it in my... But anyway, what happens is in the last year when they went to the G2, you'll go to plug this in and you'll turn it on and you got your phone open, and all of a sudden, without asking you or telling you it's going to do it, it just starts rotating and says uploading new software or something like that. So, or updating latest version. And then when it does that and you go to use the car, it will either wipe the tune out of the speed control, or it will glitch and it will there'll be nothing in the speed control, and you'll be like, dude, I got steering, but there's nothing in the throttle. I think I was the first guy that did this, and I contacted one of our local Hobbywing guys, Charlie, and I said, Charlie, what do you make of this? And he goes, it sounds like you ought to send it in, dude. Yeah. Well, after I got off the phone with him, I was ready to pull it out of the car, and then I said, you know what, let me screw with it. And I screwed around with it for a half hour. And what the fix was is if you go back to the first table before you actually go into tuning or anything, and you're just hooked to the speed control, if you go into wherever it is on that first menu of the Hobby Wing app that has where the versions of the uploads in software are at, and you go back to the original first one and download that and go through that software update, it will actually restore everything back into the speed control. It's something about this I don't know what it is. I couldn't get any answers from anybody at Hobbywing about it. It's never heard anything. It's just, if you're a first time guy and you're just learning this and you do have that software update thing, it can be frustrating because you got this expensive speed control and now it seems like it's not working. It's wiped out. So like I said, does anybody got a free phone that has a Hobbywing link that they can open for me right now?
There you go. Mine will just screw yours up.
So here we go.
I'll probably need to update mine. Charlie would love that.
Oh, there it is.
Firmware data, or whatever it says there, it's updating. If it does this, and afterward your speed control is dead in the water, here's what you're going to do.
I'm glad the ghost.
Charlie, chime in on this.
Huh?
Charlie, keep an eye on it. Charlie,
yeah. So it does a firmware database update, and it does it all on its own, and it's only happened. I've been running these speed controls for almost 4 years. No, three and a half years. And just in the last 10 or 12 months, they've been doing this. And I got to wait for it to update now. Try and turn it off and turn it back on and see if... Because I want to get to that menu that it won't let me get to because it's updating. And I don't know why it's updating right now. Has yours ever done that before? No.
Well, yeah, I think you just have to let it run through the update.
And we'll let it run through.
If anything, shut the Wi-Fi off.
So anyway, if your Hobby Wing link on your phone does this and it ends up not having anything afterward and it's like the speed control's dead, I'm going to show you here in a second. As soon as this is done, you go back into where the list of version updates for the software are, and you'll see this one that it just updated, and it'll be at the end of the list. You want to go back and pick the first one and then press download that one in. So it's going to tell me what version it just installed all on its own without asking me or anything, which is kind of... Because when the first time it did me, I'm like, dude, I didn't ask it to do that. I didn't ask it to wipe my goddamn speed control out. I was pissed. So,
I remember that.
Yeah, you remember that. Oh, no, wait. I want to go to firmware update.
I think there's an option to save your settings in there, like save your current configuration.
I did that, but it did the update and still wiped it.
Really? Wow. Do
you
have an SD card in your phone?
No, I got an
iPhone. There's your problem.
No.
Oh.
It works right.
That's why I keep using it for the video.
I have an SD card on mine, and so I back mine up, and then I actually move it out so that it can't be overwritten by anything.
Exported it.
Yeah.
I don't know where it exported to.
Yeah, I should export it to a files folder on your SD. Well, you don't have an SD card because you have an iPhone. That's your problem.
Maybe it goes into the cloud.
Set up with like a separate file now. That does whenever it's I think on the new iOS.
You might be able to. You might not. Yeah, Charlie can confirm it, but you might not be able to apply settings from a previous firmware to one of the new firmwares.
I just screenshot all my settings.
Yeah, Hobbywing will probably fix that in the future.
I screenshot all my settings now just in case that happens again, but I can just quickly go back to it.
I can't find the list now. Because you think it would be under firmware update, and that's where my lists were.
Too, that's right.
Oh, the iPhone might be a little bit different than the...
yeah, I think the iPhone is different.
Hey, can we borrow that for a second?
Yeah, can I borrow that just for a second, baby?
You can try mine. I got it on mine, too.
Come over here and video with me.
I'm too drunk to see, though.
Here. Zoom it up.
No, it's not. That's not it.
Check this out. Hey.
Any more questions out there, guys?
What?
Up to 1,000.
What? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What is that one? Oh, that's in the...
Well, I don't know. I think maybe the problem is because I'm not hooked to a speed control right now. And that is that I believe that in this very first menu, if you go into firmware update, it might be somewhere else, and I don't know because it's not hooked up to a speed control, but if you go into firmware update, it will come up with an itemized list of every firmware update that it's ever had done to it. And the last one will be this goofy one that makes your speed control dead. So if you go to that list and you find that list and you click on the first one that's on that list, and you press download and let it download that back into it, it will all come back. So your speed control's not burn up.
Rick's saying you can't see the firmware until you connect to an ESC.
That's what I thought. So so it is there, guys. If you guys, and it's only 1 out of every million speed controls. I think I'm the first one that had it happen like a year ago, and I've heard of like 3 other people happening. So 3 out of the last year worth of probably thousands and thousands of these speed controls. I don't think that it's a huge problem, but it does happen. So. What are we doing over here, Kathy and Lucy?
We're trying to figure out who's sending in messages.
Regis and Kathy Lee over here having a talk show.
No, I don't.
You gotta sign your messages when you send them to us through text message, because Messenger will tell us who it was, but text message, if we don't have your saved in your phone, we don't know who it is.
It's your secret admirer.
I got a text message from Matt. Says we look like a bowling team.
Right? That's how
That's what I said.
That's okay.
Don't be jelly.
They're striking out.
Hey,
It's Matt Kidd.
You're striking out. Yeah.
the fastest goddamn bowling league you ever... Oh, here, get this back to him. The fastest goddamn bowling league you ever raced with, so...
I hit the pins every time.
Okay. So, you guys might be asking why I have some other cars here. I have my B61 based, brand new, never been run, BBE Razor sprint car that I plan on going to the Chili Bowl with next year. It's a fresh build. I just built it. I know some of these projects are a little bit ostentatious for your average guy. Over here I got a B6.1, again, brand new car, lightweight, carpet car. It's ready to rock. They're all Hobby Wing outfitted. And what do I got over here, Randy?
Drift car.
A drift car. What kind of drift car?
I don't know.
It's a Fajon.
Crazy.
It's a really cool
Belt-driven,
contraption. Yeah, belt to shaft to belt to shaft. It's a pretty fun. Now, why am I bringing these cars out? Here's why I'm bringing these cars out. There's a lot of stress out there, and there's got to be, and probably everybody in America right now, maybe everybody in the world, whether it's a big amount of stress or a small amount of stress about this coronavirus. RC cars are obviously a release, and I see some guys spending so much time worrying about what's on the internet and arguing on the internet and working on the car and worrying about what they got to buy next and doing this and doing that. That combined with the corona, it can really make your head spin. So cross training, dude, that's what we've been doing. We've been doing some off road. We got some 8-scale buggies going. We got a buddy named Kelly Purdy. Kelly, what's up? If you're watching or if you see this, Kelly owns a local muffler shop, Petaluma Muffler Works. If you're in Sonoma County and you want some good exhaust work, go by and see Kelly. Behind Petaluma Muffler Works is a off-road track for 1/10 scale and 8 scale buggies that we go and we have fun with. I mean, me and Randy do a little bit of drifting here in my garage. We peel all the carpets back and put WD-40 on the ground so they really slide. We strap rockets to RC cars and whether it's dirt oval or it's 8 scale or it's big boats up there. We're doing boats. It's something to unwind from this. So, you guys have anything to add to that?
Fast Freddy's here.
Fuck you.
Kelly, the track looks good.
Fast Freddy. Thanks for hurting my ankle, buddy. I remember that.
He redid all the borders. And
yeah, Kelly, I don't know why, if he's been slow at work, probably has. But he decided 2 days ago to start redoing the track in the back, and it's all just primed and primed and cut and trimmed, and it's just ready to race on. And now it's going to rain all weekend. So, but we really, really appreciate that. It helps me get a lot of the stress out when I go grab a transmitter and go out and have fun. Because you guys remember, at the end of the day, this is supposed to be fun. You know.
We got a question from Mike Self.
Mike Self, big nitro drag guy.
Okay.
It's badass nitro cars, man. Thanks for bringing those out when you bring them. No, there's really no difference between whether you're connecting Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. It just depends on what ESC you have and how it connects.
Oh, programming box versus
Programming
Wi-Fi.
box, the card.
Oh, no, you get all the same settings as far as I know.
As far as a majority of the settings, yes, but no. If you can always
Use the app.
Well, the box is safer in the way that you're directly connected to it. You don't have an open link. Nobody can look at it. Nobody can screw your tune up. It can't. Okay, I get that portion of it. But I don't know if it's true for Tekin or other speed controls, but as far as the Hobby Wing stuff goes, the app is second to none compared to the box. can you do your basic settings of turbo timing, boost timing, brake setting, this and that? Yes, you can. But there's also 30% more you can do with the actual app on your phone connected through Wi-Fi like I do. So that's what I have to say about that. I like to do the Wi-Fi when I am doing tuning because there is more to do it. You have your data logging and your
data logging,
all kinds of stuff like that. But it's not just the data logging. There's other stuff too. On a programming car, you can't change. I'm not using linear throttle curves on my car. I do custom throttle curves and stuff with bar graphs and stuff. And you can't do that. You can't do that on the box.
But Hobbywing does do firmware updates for their box and all that stuff.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, there's no way to do a linear curve on that box.
Yeah, there's just not that kind of screen. So. Is there any more questions? Again, guys, next week, we're going to go with more of a informative show again. I'll be coming up with a couple topics that I believe are hot to trot in the Nprc world at the moment, and we'll cover those segments on next show. But I really wanted to talk about this junior rookie class, and I wanted to talk about some of the guys wanting to change the rules. Have Gabe on. Thank you, Gabe, for coming on the show and talking about how to start up an Nprc.
If anybody has any questions about starting them up, hit me up or just throw a post up on the Sonoma County Nprc group page, and I'll see it, and I'll probably send you a message or whatnot, or reply in the post. But again, the biggest thing is, man, just post up a list. Once you get 5 plus people, post up a list and challenge other people in your area. And it'll grow. It will grow. You'll get people, and that's the thing is, ours sat around for probably 6 months, maybe a year before I finally went, I'm tired of people talking about it. I'm just going to post up a list, and here we are. I mean, it blows up. People see that list and they're like, man, I want on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
once you get that needle in your neck, it's hard to get it out, dude.
And try and get as many volunteers as you can. Now I've got enough help to where I might try and start racing later this season. But the first year or two, it was so stressful for me. I just couldn't switch from running the race to jumping into a race. I mean, I tried a couple times, and the dude's halfway down the track before I'm even hitting throttle. Because I got somebody coming up to talk to me, ask me a question. I'm like, huh? Oh shit, we're racing. Go, So,
I want to see Gabe run. I think Gabe shouldn't have to always do all the work.
I might have to have you look a little tune on the car because it hasn't been running about 2
Bring
years.
it by.
So,
Bring it by. It'll get the full treatment, dude.
Yeah.
If and when that day comes, hopefully sooner than later, I want to bring that up in the meeting and say, let's all be appreciative towards Gabe for running the race and letting us come here and doing this for us and coming out. Gabe is racing today, so if you see Gabe with a transmitter in his hand and he's up on the line, please leave him alone. He's not gonna, he's not there to do questions. He's a racer at that point.
Do not disturb.
So we got 2 questions. They're gonna tie into each other.
Okay.
Frank's asking about the shirts, and Rick's asking about another list. So we got to find out another list, Solano Valley or something maybe, or Solano Vallejo. But I think, is Rick Turner the dude you guys got the shirts from?
Yes, Rick
So
Turner.
if you guys are looking for team shirts, man, hit up Rick Turner. He's easy to find. He's on like 3 or 4 lists. So top 10 lists. So he's on our top 10 list. He's on the Lake County. He's on the NorCal list. Dude travels for racing.
707 street cars, baby.
So hit up Rick. Frank, hit up Rick Turner, man. He'll hook you guys up with the shirts.
Oh, I know, but it wasn't as big.
Saving you energy from turning around.
Yeah, I'm really stoked. The second half of last year, Emma was actually running a Valenian system, and she actually did really well with it. She never wrecked a car. She, she'd take off, and you'd see it veer one way a little bit, and you'd be like, oh, God, and then she'd correct it a little bit, and she would straighten it right out, and she made me really proud. But I dialed her car back to not only make her learn to be a little bit better driver so that when she does get older to get into the faster cars that she's ready, but to make it cheap, I want her, right now, all we have is just the heavy hitters out there running, and my daughter, she's not at the point where she can run with those guys.
The survey crew.
So if I put the 12 turn in her car and a bunch of other kids do, then she's got a class she can go out and do the best she can in, and I think that's what it's all about, So,
I've killed my bottle of Crown, so I need a little break.
The crown's gone, dude. Yeah. So, well, I guess unless there's any other questions.
Questions, shoot your questions, folks. Questions,
please.
questions. Answers.
Any questions, That's what we're
On
here
Sunday.
So still have track
Friday.
officials.
Oh, wait, here we go. What's that? Which one?
From Karen.
Does
Right?
Snow have track officials? Yeah! Track officials are anybody that volunteers. And
You got a cell phone. You can stand
yeah,
there. You're a track official.
and David. Is it David Steele? Yeah,
Yes.
David Steele, man, rocks it. Where he was kind of like me, where he came out and raced a couple times, and he's like, man, I actually have more fun doing the finish line stuff. And so the dude is knocked out of the park with the videos. Now he's working on a thing. Damn it, I forgot to get the measurement on the track width. Sorry about that, David. I'll get that for you this week because it's slow. But yeah, we got track officials, David, that are pretty much our standard guys. We always ask for people to watch the finish line, the start line. Center line's pretty easy because we put little cones out. If you hit a cone, you cross the center line. Track officials are huge. I mean, that's like I said. I mean, that's one of the like I got hit because I was out running. I didn't have enough people watching and all this stuff. And if you don't have a spot to, thanks, David. If you don't have a spot for somebody to stand up, our track on the west side of the left lane, people can stand on a curb. But anybody that's actually watching from the right side, they're on their own. Where we've tried having them stand up on things, but. I think the first time we had somebody stand up on a stand, they hit that stand and it actually destroyed the car. Ooh. And so it's kind of like, kind of 6.5 dozen the other. Yeah. Just watch out if you're ever down track, always keep an eye out for the cars flying because they hurt when they hit your ankles. I'll tell you that. But videos, we always tell people don't video the really cool looking videos are the ones where people drop the camera down to the ground. But we've had those kind of screw us in the end because the car that was closer obstructed the view of the car behind, and it was like very hard to see. So we always tell people try and do it from eye level or chest. David's been knocking it out of the park with the video.
To clarify, what we try and do is, let's say this is the line and the cars are racing this way. We like to have a camera showing this way on the line and this way on the line, because the line is where you want to see when you have to, pause it and bring the cars right up to where one passes the line and then screenshot it and then zoom in to find out who won.
And that, we get, and that's the thing. I get people asking about the Traxxas DTS1 timing system all the time. The system's, it's great for the price. But when it comes to actually running a race with that, it just doesn't work because you'll have somebody that's pulling a wheelie. I mean, half of our cars are pulling the front tires off the ground as they cross the finish line. And that car got news for you, it's not hitting that timing mark. And if the guy that's, below, to the side of you, that's a half a car length behind you, has the tires in the ground, the Traxxas system will say that guy won. But in reality, he didn't, because the Traxxas system only runs about 3/4 of an inch off the ground. If you're at the front half of your car is 3/4 of an inch off the ground, that's half a car length that you're not getting counted for. We have many races that people call me down. When the race is done, they call me over, and I'm the one that's got to make the judgment call, because the frame before this guy's car is here, and then the frame after this, it's switched, and it's tough. And so and that's what helps with having two different camera views. But I think there's been one or two races where we've actually had to say we got to do a re-race because these two cars crossed at these exact same time in our videos,
And that keeps a lot of the, if it's so close that 2 or 3 people that are running the race and the guy running the race trusts to look at the videos, and you guys just can't tell, just rerun it. I mean, that's what.
Ask both drivers. As long as both drivers agree, and most of the time they will. And that's what I do if I'm having a problem making a call on it. I ask both the drivers.
Keep it fun.
Yeah, keep it. It's all. We're all here to have fun. I mean, nobody's gonna lose a mortgage payment when they lose one of these races. I guess if you lose the damn King of the Streets race, that was a mortgage payment. But it's.
It was the spoilers.
Yeah,
Canards. Judnards. Okay, can we stop talking about Judd's Nards?
Yeah. What else we got, guys?
One guy asking about times. I don't know why everybody's so obsessed with how fast cars. What's the time on the car? What's the time on the car? Honestly, I don't get it. I've never.
If you can, I mean, there's ways to do it with certain people that are paying attention, that know what the fuck they're doing. Know what the heck they're doing with certain cheap pieces of equipment, i.e., stopwatches and stuff like that. There's a way that without a big multi-thousand, you can get a pretty damn close of what the time is.
The Traxxas system, though, that's what we were talking about earlier.
It's just way off. It's all over the board, man. I mean, I've seen guys do 2-point flat at 48 miles an hour. There's no way at 48 miles an hour that you're doing a 2-second run. It just isn't working like that. So if you're in a 2.5s, you're a quick car. If you're down in 2.3s, you're a heavy hitter.
Look at the elapsed time. Don't be looking at that top speed. The top speed. I've literally had the Traxxas system tell my drivers they're going 98 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's like, and everybody just looks at it and goes, I mean, obviously it's a glitch. But I mean, when it tells you you're going, 82 miles an hour, it's probably a glitch, Yeah. I mean, that system is with the problem is with that system, it's a infrared reflective system. Well, Lexan bodies by nature are, somewhat reflective, but you get metallic paint jobs, you get chrome tires, it just does weird stuff, I mean, and like I said, we've had people that posted up, 2-second times with their top speed being 38 miles an hour. Like that you can't do that
with a Millennium.
I don't care whether you're going, 40 miles an hour. It takes longer than 0.2 second or 2 seconds to cross 132 feet.
Yeah.
And so if that's your top speed when you cross, it just doesn't work out. They're not accurate.
I don't know what
they're great for testing and all that. They're great.
I heard that they were an add-on for the Traxxas funny car, and the funny cars they work pretty decent.
As long as you've got a stock body with a stock paint job.
Yeah.
But like mine, I did a metallic type paint job, and the system does not like that car.
Huh.
We tried using them for the first couple of races when we had anywhere from 15 to 20 guys. And we would stage the cars, and if you looked at the starting line from the side, one car is staged an inch ahead of the other guy.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it is because their body's out of the infrared reflector, so they got to get the tire on there. Well, the other guy's got his bumper in there. Well, now this guy's 2 inches ahead. Well, we've had races that are a quarter of that distance in finish time, and so I mean that's
they're that close.
They're that close, and that's why as far as race officials go, we've got one person watching the starting line, watching whoever's staging their cars to stage the very front. I don't care what it is, whatever's sticking out the furthest on your car, that's what goes in the starting line. And everybody does that. It doesn't matter. You're not matching the front wheelbase or the front axle line. You're matching whatever's in the front of the car.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. So.
Is there any other questions?
Any other questions?
What was the best?
Last chance for questions, folks.
Questions. Oh, it's not on.
Yeah, the heat. Oh God, yeah.
Questions.
Yeah, Frank with the sun. If you are trying to use a Traxxas system, sun shields. Use cardboard or anything to go over those infrared reflectors. Traxxas systems are great for doing your own testing with one car. Stay in one lane. Don't take, don't. You can switch it up for left and right lane, but
they're junk.
Don't. Yeah, I mean, well, they're fine for testing, but as far as it runs for running a car,
for a race,
and when you like, and that's what he means by their junk.
Having your group of guys feel that the race was run fair.
It does not work for a big race. They work great for testing, but if you're out testing and your Traxxas system says you went, 1.5 seconds at 98 miles an hour. Got news for you. Don't post that. People are going to call you on that shit because it's just the system is inherently inaccurate, but it's fairly accurate for most of the time when you're going through your car. But it's just not accurate enough for these systems. And there's a couple people that make timing systems for these systems, but they're $5,000 or $6,000. And it just we don't have the funds for that. So
well, I don't mind throwing down $2,000, $2,500 for a system. But it's finding a system that will do what we want to do, you know?
Yeah.
So, what else we got out there in internet land?
So we don't really use a timing system. Like I said, we use a green light start, and then camera guys at the end.
Let's do this. Light. On our race days, we aren't racing a clock. We're not taking times. We're racing. If I beat you, I beat you. That is notated by 2 different cameras at the end.
street racing is using this is basically the equivalent of a flashlight.
These are available for $150 from Ricky. Let me see this. They come with a 3S lipo and a clicker, and it's just really easy. This is similar to what we use on race day, because like I said, once that light turns green, those guys are gone. If I beat you or you beat me, that's what's happening on the cameras at the end of the track. So, and that's to me, that's what makes it real street racing.
Yeah, and that's using the flashlight. It's fine, but you will have people that complain about when you're using a handheld flashlight. You will have people that will complain about, you shine the light in my eyes, or you shine it more at that guy, or you blinked right before you said it to let the other guy know. I mean, it's just where we said, okay, you know what, with this front, his front light. Now we got another guy that we call Click, because the guy took off one time and jumped the light. What'd you jump for? He goes, I heard you click the clicker. Do you go on the click or do you go on the light?
There's no
and so
way
the
to
next time
make
the guy raced, I went, oh, watch, here comes Click. He's going to go. And I went, and the guy went. He laughed. He went, I didn't even hit the clicker. And he laughed. And so, okay,
how'd that go?
You have solidified your name as Click. Not this Daniel, another Daniel.
Oh, I know. I had one race. I think it was against Tim Terry.
Yeah.
And he clicked it, and we both went. And then we stopped about 40 feet out, and I looked at Tim, and he looked at me, and I said, "Rerun it." He goes, "Yeah, rerun it." We both jumped on the click. I mean, I was like a racehorse, just ready to go, dude. And I heard that click, and I was gone.
Our battery's petering out in that thing, and so you go to hit it, and it wasn't really
I
responding.
heard a guy 40 feet back and said, "Go get me some sandwiches." I heard go. I'm like, "Go."
So we tell people, you go on the light. It's always on the light,
Yeah.
And we tell people, hey, when the announcer, whenever is running the light, says driver's ready, that's a question, or as a statement, not a question. Because we have a lot of guys that, the guys would say, driver's ready, and one of the drivers looks over and goes, yeah, I'm ready. Oh, the guy hit the light, he's going, Jesus, It's like, it's on the light, always
There's
on the light.
nothing worse than getting your car ready and going up and getting a red light and not even getting to race, not even getting to even if you were to lose.
That was my very first time.
Honor,
The very first time I went out to NorCal, we hadn't even started our group yet. I just wanted to get a feel for it, and I entered their Challenger elimination, and I think my very first run, I jumped the light. I was just like, and I jumped it because I didn't jump because I thought I went. I was so nervous, my hand was shaking, and I just went to put my finger on the throttle, and I bumped it, and the car went forward, and went, bitch.
Yeah, when you guys are up at the start line, I set my car down, I do my burnout, I straighten the car out, I do whatever you ritually do with your car on the line, and then I step back and I take a deep breath, and I visualize the car going. I can visualize a straight line down, and I send my car down that straight line, and I step back and I take a deep breath, and then I'm ready, and I wait for that light. I wait for it,
I get guys that show up that they go, I go, hey, you're new here, you're not signed up on our list to race. And he's like, oh, my car's not fast enough. I don't care whether your car's fast or not. Get the practice. Enter your car in. I don't care whether you got a stock slash.
Doesn't cost anything. Yeah,
doesn't cost anything. Put your name on the list and get used to getting up on that line and watching for a light to start. Get used to that, so that when you do get a competitive car and you go to enter in the competition, you're not stressed about that. You're like, I've done this a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Any other questions?
Any other questions, guys?
Let's go.
So, hey, guys, between now and next week, feel free to PM me on any topics that you think that maybe are big in the Nprc world right now and you want us to see us go over. I'd love to do that would be probably the most direct way to help the guys out there.
I think so.
So PM me with topic ideas. I have so much going on in my head that I could always keep these shows going, but I don't want to just go over stuff and go, oh man, I watched it and I got some information out of it, but he didn't go over this one thing and I really got to figure it out. Message me, man. We'll go over it.
A lot of people start asking off-topic questions because of something else.
Yeah.
Send a message of what you want to cover.
Send the questions of what you guys want to see in the shows. That way I can cover that stuff. And hopefully we can help you work those bugs out of your car. So that's what it's all about. Helping each other and not changing the rules on people. And helping people go
Nice
fast
eye
and
roll.
have fun, So without further ado,
Get it out there.
I'd like to mention Phantom again. Phantom for all your RC
Kind of
products.
sponsors, folks.
Sponsors Hobby Wing, RCRI right here.
Jake's Performance Hobbies, Rowan Park, California. Shipping nationwide. Probably around the world too, knowing Jake. But.
Oh,
RCRI, RC Racing Innovations. Look them up if you're willing to spend a couple extra bucks and actually turn your car from a slash or whatever you have into like just a dope race car. Look them up. Reach out to Steve and pick yourself up a really nice chassis. The chassis we use are the Black Widows. What's the new one called? The
Pro.
The Pro. The Pro is just, it's a beautiful orchestra of carbon fiber and design that is just the stuff is second to none, and we're really lucky to have him.
Steve's working on one for me. Hopefully we'll have it on the show soon.
The
Pro.
The new Pro. Okay. So maybe we'll get into some chassis stuff next episode and show off some of the Black Widows so people can see what's underneath the hood and why our cars are just so freaking fast.
You got it, dude. Dude, Ricky's got a new tattoo.
Yeah.
we saw it last time.
Oh, all right.
King of the streets.
I was
Here
out
we
camping
go.
last
Shot
time.
again.
I got
707
Yeah.
2020, baby.
Did you leave it so you can get 2020, 2021?
Well, I got one
Just go
too.
all the way around.
Yeah,
I got one too.
Okay.
Mine says GP for life. You know what GP is, right? Ground pounders.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. They've been around like 30-something years.
Yeah,
now,
I know. Yeah.
But you know why? Because they run on the same weekend every month.
Yeah.
And don't change
they
the
don't
rules
change the
all the
rules up
time.
on people.
Yeah. And no changing rules all the time. They do change their weekend they run, but they change it for the season. The whole season, it's all negotiated ahead of time.
Yeah. So, any other questions? I don't have the phones.
I don't see nothing.
Okay.
No.
Got any
Jason,
shout
you're
outs?
welcome.
Any shout outs?
Bob,
What about
you're welcome. Billy,
Auntie
you're
K?
welcome.
Auntie K.
Noe.
If you're watching, hey Noe.
Hi.
No, he said hi.
Did she?
She's our live studio audience.
And who else? Mommy?
Mommy.
You want to say hi to Mora? So look at me. Look at her.
Hi, Mommy.
Okay. Well, what do you guys think? Anything else? Going once? Going twice?
Well, bye.
Bye.
Peace.
All right, guys. So,
I
thanks for tuning in for episode 6 of Nprc Talk, brought to you by 707 Streetcars. I'm Daniel Judd, Ricky Bellotti, Gabe, Randy,
Jake's Performance Hobbies.
Jake's Performance Hobbies, and tune in next Friday, and we'll go over some stuff to make your cars faster. Until then, reach out, tell me what are some of the things you guys want me to go over, and we'll see you next Friday.
And just post up your top 10 list. Just make a list and post it up. You will have people join.
Get you some of that, baby.